All right, welcome to episode 4 of the Hammers and Hustle podcast, brought to you by Good Life Claims and Roofing the 502. My name's Josiah Hollabaugh. I am here with my man, Simi Butler. What's up, Simi?
What's up, JoJo?
Hey, so we were just chatting. So I was showing him because this is obviously a fake background, right? So I was showing him what was behind me, which is a green screen, right? Like everybody can see it here. I'll show the good folks at home. Like I'm unabashed. See, there's my green screen. So I'll put my pretty picture back on. I like the beach. So but behind that is a fish tank. So I don't know that, and it hums. So I've got my noise gate turned way up and
Okay.
everything. And hi Holly. Bye Holly. She just called me JoJo.
Yep.
That's funny. Uh so the fish tank it's kind of dirty right now. I need to clean it. But so you asked me what kind of whether it was saltwater or freshwater. So it is a freshwater tank. I would prefer saltwater, and we like once we kind of migrate through the life of this tank, I guess.
Mhm.
So we'll probably go to saltwater.
Okay.
But so what happened was, so we have a next door neighbor. Her name's Denise. We call her Aunt Denise.
Okay.
So my wife and I, and we're getting here we go. Buckle up, Buttercup. This is going to be a tangent. We'll come back around. So my wife and I, when we first got married, now we celebrated our 20th anniversary this year. And
Congratulations.
thanks, man. Appreciate it. And so when we first got married, you do what all young couples do. We hung out for a couple years, and then we're like, well, we should probably start trying to have a family. And so we go down that road. Well, we couldn't get pregnant. And so we started we went down the whole fertility road. And we're unabashed about this. Like we're not, it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
And we have, my wife had a blog of like back, remember those days when you had all the bloggers? She had a blog because she got tired of telling people all the time because it was constant, right? Like, my parents were asking for updates, her parents were asking for updates, her friends were asking for updates, and she's just like, forget it. Here's the blog, right?
Yeah.
And so we start doing IUIs, which is it's literally what you think it is. It's they use a tube, they collect the stuff and use a tube and do the thing. And then we did a couple of rounds of IVF, which was expensive. And so we were up to our, like, this was our last chance, right? Like we had literally tapped everything for the time being. And so we got pregnant with the girls, my 14-year-olds. That's where they came from. So we had twin 14.
Yeah.
But we were in, so the girls were born in October, so that's the 10th month, right?
Okay.
Well, in February of that year, and this is why I told you all this whole story, right?
Okay.
So in February that year, Denise's husband passes away. Not unexpected.
Okay.
I mean, the guy was in and out of the hospital, like he had lung cancer at one point, I think. I mean, just the whole host of issues, right?
Yeah.
But we had lived, I mean, at this point it was 2010. We'd lived there for 3 years, and we'd gotten really close with him and his wife. And this big old dude, he'd be out, and the reason I tell you all this is that he'd be out in his backyard by his koi pond, shirtless. So that'd be like me walking around shirtless all the time at 67 or whatever. I mean, he was almost 70.
Yeah.
All the time. Never had a shirt on, always barefoot. But that's just who he was. And so they had this koi pond. And so I tell you the story about the girls and him. And so he's getting ready to pass away. He's in the hospital for the last time. He's really sick. And so we go up to visit, and he looks over at my wife and he goes, "Did you bring the girls?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Did you bring the kids?" And we're just Meg's like, we don't have any kids yet, Ron. He goes, oh,
Oh,
like he was real confused about it. He called the shot.
yeah.
We that was the next cycle that we did was the one that we got pregnant with the girls.
And he said girls, plural.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's
He called the shot. So when we had the girls in October of that year, and so they were a month, they were due in November. They were a month, they were 36 weeks,
okay.
which is totally normal. They spent 8 days in the NICU, which is totally like one of them's blood sugar was too low. I mean, nothing serious.
Yeah.
They called them grower and feeders. Like,
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, one of them developed jaundice, so she had to, her bilirubin was low, so she had the tanning bed. You know, they put them on, they put them in like UV lights essentially. So nothing major, but so after that, bye Holly.
No, you're good.
So after that, after we had the girls, she started coming over every evening, and she would help us with the kids and eat
Denise
with us. Yeah, and she was making dinners and like and so fast forward to 14 years later, she still comes over and eats dinner every night.
Oh wow!
And so last summer, and I tell you all of that backstory, right? All of that backstory coming around to the fish tanking. So last summer, she has five koi, like giant. I mean, they're huge. They're like 18 inches long, and they're like this big around. They're huge koi.
Okay.
She has 5 koi in her koi pond that's in her backyard. Well, they had fries, is what they call them, which are they had babies. So there's like 25 or 30 of these little koi that are swimming around in this pond. And normally, like that, it's happened before. Normally, the bigger koi will eat the little koi. That's just how it works. I don't know.
Right.
But they didn't this time. So literally, we were over there fishing them out with a net because we didn't think that they would survive the winter because it gets so cold up here.
Oh yeah.
And the reason that her koi survive is she puts in a big tank heater essentially and keeps it like at like 40, 45 degrees. So anything under 50, the koi won't feed. So they'll just stay down at the bottom, and it's like they hibernate essentially.
Yeah.
And so we brought all of the babies over here that we could fish out. I think we had 18 or 19 just to try and save them through the winter.
Yeah.
And then we'll reintroduce them back into the pond over there. So
that's cool, man.
That was a really long story for there's a bunch of koi in the fish tank, but I would prefer saltwater. Yeah.
That's I wonder why they didn't eat them this time around.
I don't know. We were just assuming that they were going to at some point. But they didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
Story, and he knew it was going to be. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's been gone 14 years.
14 years. That's wild, man.
It's just wild. Like the time just ticks by, right?
It really does.
It just ticks by. I was going to talk to you about something. I should have wrote it down. I'm just like 27 different directions today. Episode 3, Simi, was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. It was with my really good friend. Well, my good friend from here. He lives local, but he owns a public adjusting firm as well. Super smart guy, knows his stuff. But he runs the Iowa Association of Public Insurance Adjusters. So it's like an organization. And there's legislation in Iowa that's would essentially eliminate the contractor from being able to talk to the insurance company.
Altogether.
Okay. Meaning that so that either it would have to go to an attorney or a public adjuster. Okay. And so we were talking about that legislation and some PA stuff. That's kind of what we chatted about last time. But yeah, and it was just kind of hey, because him and I were interacting on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, do you want to be on my podcast?" And he goes, "Sure." He's like, "How's Tuesday?" I was like, "Okay." Like,
Yeah.
away we went.
Cool.
Yeah, it ended up, we thought our first episode was long. That ended up being an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's an hour and a half episode. It was a long episode. And that episode will go live this afternoon.
Sweet.
So, oh, that's what I was going to ask you. How's the Ville doing? Are they going to make the tournament this year?
Oh, yeah.
Let's preface this for people that are listening later down the road, right? This is like one of the best times if you like college basketball.
Yes, the best.
I mean, I am January, like February and early March, before you get to this, gets real rough. And then after this, like next 6 weeks or not even 4 weeks, man, there's nothing till football comes around. It's gonna be rough.
I know.
But are they gonna make the tournament?
Yeah. That Coach Kelsey is the coach now, and I mean we've only lost like 6 or 7 games, and we got a double bye. We've been doing so well. We only lost 2 games in the ACC. I've got North Carolina's playing Wake Forest right now.
Dude, that early game today was wild. The Duke Georgia Tech game.
It came down to the wire?
No, it was wild. Georgia Tech had them down like 26-12 at one point.
Oh, they did?
Cooper Flagg didn't play almost the whole game, I guess.
Oh, wow.
I didn't watch it. I was had a lunch meeting today, but
okay.
I think Duke ended up pulling ahead toward the end. They've got so many horses on that team. They're really good.
No, Duke's slow. Georgia Tech is one of the teams that U of L lost to.
Did they?
Yeah, the only team we actually lost to in 2025, and it was it was a major upset because they're under 500.
Yeah,
but
so anyways, March Madness is coming up. That's what we're talking about. So conference tournaments this week, and then next week you have the tournament actually starts. So like Selection Sunday's on in a couple days. I know my boys from Nebraska, they're done. Like,
so I was going to ask you.
They're done. They're like they didn't even make the tournament.
But the conference tournament?
No, they didn't even make the conference tournament. They lost like their last 6 games in a row. They were doing great. And then it just nothing down the stretch. So I don't know if they're going to get rid of. I don't know if they're going to get rid of their coach. What they're going to do. This is his 7th season, or this was his 6th season, maybe.
He's gone.
It's Fred Hoiberg. You remember Fred Hoiberg?
He's the one. He's coaching.
Yeah, he's the Nebraska coach.
Oh.
So I don't know what, like, so if you're not from Omaha, Lincoln, Eastern Nebraska, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a term up here we call them Jayskers. So Huskers on one side and then Blue Jays on the other.
Right? Yeah.
This my team's doing well.
Yeah.
They play at 6 tonight. So I think they have DePaul at Madison Square Garden up in New York City. So
sweet.
But we got that big Ryan Kalkbrenner at center. 4-time defensive player of the year for the Big East. He won it 4 years in a row.
What's his name?
Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Oh, okay.
You have to look him up. He looks like Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. He's like a really tall Sheldon Cooper. Okay. But he's so dominant on the inside. Like you can you're watching
the big dude. The big
he's our big 7'1" guy.
Okay.
But man, he completely changes the other team's offense. So like they'll be driving in, and normally they'd go in and they do like a scoop and score, scoop it and score it, and or layup or dunk it or whatever. And they stop and they shoot these little like fadeaway jumpers just to get away from them. Yeah, it's hilarious. Like watching it live, it is so much fun.
I bet.
Yeah, but anyways, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, no, we're good, man. I don't know what their projected what's it called? Like in the actual bracket, March Madness tourney. But I would say we probably should be able to get like a 5, 6 seed at the highest, which is, I mean, we literally won a total of 12 games in 2 years when Kenny Payne was our coach, and then he's back with Calipari in Arkansas.
All right, so pulling up the ESPN bracketology, it looks like Duke is the overall number one.
Yeah, Auburn probably fell out from their losses.
Auburn's A1.
Okay.
So the ones they have projected are Duke, Auburn, Florida, and Houston.
Okay, that sounds about right.
And then Tennessee, Michigan State, Texas Tech, and Alabama are the twos.
Okay.
Well, UNO, so University of Nebraska Omaha made it out of the Summit League, one of the little mid-major programs or conferences. Yeah, University of Nebraska Omaha, which their campus is like not even a mile from my house.
Wow.
I can about throw a stone and hit their campus. They won their conference and conference tournament.
Sweet.
And so so they're already in the tournament. So at least we'll have two of the Nebraska teams in the tournament.
Yeah, there you go.
They're projected to play Texas Tech as a 15 seed though, so that's going to be a tough row to hoe. I'm just looking.
Texas Tech got high nationally.
What's that?
Texas Tech is ranked that high nationally.
Must be. I think they're probably the best team out of the Big 12. It looks like. I mean, out of the top 8. Oh no, Houston and Texas Tech are. Houston's out of the Big 12.
Okay.
Out of the top 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. SEC has 4. Big 10 only has 1 team. Big 12 has 2.
Okay.
So it looks like they have Louisville projected as a 7 seed.
7. Okay.
Playing in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be dope, right? That'd be that's like right up the road from you.
Yeah.
Is that where the Buc-ee's is at?
What? Yep, there is one there. It's technically Richmond. Yeah, I always have to represent with my Buc-ee's. There we go.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah, it's in Richmond, which is like 15-20 minute drive. Okay, Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Well, we've got another one in Bowling Green, the Corvette Museum. And I think there's another one.
That place is cool.
When you drive down, like you're going, like if you go I-65 south from Louisville, you can hit Nashville. So on the way going to Nashville, you can see it over to your right side. It just looks cool just from seeing it from the expressway, but I've never been in. But there was I don't know how many years ago it was. It was maybe, hell, it might have been about 10 years ago now, honestly. But they had one of those, basically, it's a sinkhole inside the spot.
Yeah, in the building. Wonder what was leaking.
Dude, I think there was like 10 or 15 cars that dropped down in the sinkhole.
Holy buckets.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy. So Louisville's is a 7 seed and Lexington playing Arkansas.
Ooh.
That's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
That's like worst case scenario for Creighton. They're a 9 seed playing Mississippi State.
They're tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a little low for them, honestly. But
it's because the SEC is so strong this year, and those other conferences are strong too. So that's probably why. Just those other bigger name teams, I guess you could say, are moving in front of them. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If they have a good run in the Big East tournament, I think that'll adjust a little bit. But this is all. It's funny how much the conference tournaments adjust the brackets, because it's like forethought of the selection committee's mind.
Yeah,
someone can easily go from a 8-9 seed and go on a run, and then they end up being a 6 seed, and you're like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
I mean, but if you think about it, so there's 4 brackets. Top if like your 5th seeds are like 20 through 21 or 20 through 24 on the um like the in season rankings is like,
Yeah.
you forget that because there's like 68 teams now. So there's
Yeah.
43 teams that are not in the top 25.
Exactly.
It's just crazy to think about that.
I know. Yeah. What was I going to say? And it's with Creighton, as long as they hitting their threes, I mean, they're
Oh,
almost.
we can beat anybody. If
They
you're on, we can
beat
beat
UConn
anybody.
a couple years ago, 2 times.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we beat them right before the tournament.
I beat them by like 20.
Yeah, it was like 17 points or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't even close.
Oh.
UConn didn't play well. That I was there. UConn didn't play well that game. But we played really well that game. Like Kalkbrenner had a great day, of course. Ashworth had a great day. But I mean, that team, the difference between the team last year and the team this year is like we had Trey Alexander and Baylor Shireman, who are both in the NBA right now.
Right.
So like, I mean, I think Trey's playing for the Nuggets, and Baylor, I think he's in Boston with the Celtics. So, and they were both fantastic players, but I mean, that team was tough because if one of the pieces wasn't on, they were selfless enough that they'd start feeding the person that was on, so that person would have a great day, and it kind of just spurred the whole team. But I wish we would have had one more year with Baylor and Trey. That team would have been national title contender.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, for UConn to go back to back and then beat them by 20, I mean, even if you have a lucky game, you're beating a national champion back to back by 20. That says a lot.
UConn won the title last year too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? The year, speaking of UConn, before Hurley got there, the last time UConn had won a championship was like 2014, I believe. Louisville had won the championship in 13 when we should have went back to back. But we smashed UConn by 30 points 2 times that year. And then UConn ends up winning the national championship.
Of course they do.
Yep. I'll never forget because we played Kentucky of all teams, and we got cheated on. Like, it was obvious.
It always is.
It always do. Always. Well, it looks like North Carolina's going to pull out against Wake Forest. He's fighting for his job too. Hubert Davis.
Yeah. Because they were not good this year. I mean,
No.
they got drummed by Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely drummed.
Yeah.
And that can't happen.
No, that's kind of like with Louisville and Kentucky. Even if we have a shitty season, if we could beat UK or at least be in the, have a good game against them, that'll save a season for a coach and for the whole team, the city for that matter. But yeah, we get drummed by UK. It's just like, dude, we have nothing, nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Man. Steelers. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready for basketball, man. This is gonna be good.
Yeah. My networking group that I go to every Thursday, they always do a March Madness thing. So like we get instead of going to lunch like we normally do, we go find a sports bar and sit there and watch all the games and hang out, have a social event,
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
It's a bunch of good people that belong to the group and are part of it. And it's wide ranging. Like we have a vice president from a bank, we have a financial planner, insurance agent. We have a custom home builder that just joined the group, attorney. What else do we have? Like commercial realtor, residential real estate, property manager, like just all kinds of people.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's fun, and it's just all referral based.
Mm-hmm.
So we refer within the group. I wish we're looking in the group for a plumber and electrician. It's kind of odd. a plumber, an electrician, a divorce attorney. Um, that's more of the financial side of things because people going through divorce, like now they've got to liquidate assets or
Yeah.
like do all of that stuff. So,
No
um,
joke.
what else are we looking for? A dentist. It's just kind of funny how like
Yeah.
what we're looking for, right? So,
Yeah.
but we're trying to because the way that the group is structured, it has silos. So like
Mhm.
it's got like home services, which is plumber, electrician, HVAC, you know, uh, painter, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
I kind of fall in that group, but I kind of fall in all the groups because I can kind of. It's just as a licensed public adjuster, I get referrals from everybody. You know, it's my referrals are, hey, I'm so and so said they had a bad experience with the claim. Can you help them out? Well, I can talk to them,
Yeah.
you know, and see what they got going. It's kind of like your referrals, right? Like because you don't advertise, do you? Like so, it's
Oh,
all
we
word of mouth, right?
yeah. Yeah, we just really the only thing we were doing is we weren't even signed up with Google until like last year. And then we've got some I don't even know what the ad looks like, but Holly's got it set up where we have some ads running. So I might get like 2 or 3 calls a week on that. But yeah, man, I mean,
And it's
well,
it's 502 roofing and remodeling, right?
right. But the thing is, kind of like what you were saying back to that whole Iowa situation, like I think those insurance companies are just making it so hard for these homeowners to, get anything paid for. It's like you're going to have to go the route of a public adjuster and or an attorney as well.
Yeah, it may be one or both.
Yeah,
I have one that's bored like teetering on litigation, which we've talked about it before, that big tornado loss, right? I have
yeah,
another one out of this. It wasn't the same tornado. It was a different there because there was two tornadoes that hit Omaha that day. One hit way out west, and then one hit like downtown.
hmm,
So like 15 miles apart. Like it took out they had a hangar at the airport. It took a hangar out
wow,
and then went across the river because it's right on the Missouri River into Iowa
mhm,
and hit my homeowner's house. Like you literally it sits up way up on a bluff. It's
hmm,
like 200 feet up and it's just like a sheer drop.
hmm.
And his house looks right at the Eppley airport,
Oh wow,
which is Omaha's airport. And so
okay,
you can see the path. I wonder if I don't know if I've uploaded it into my Google Drive yet, but you can see the path. This storm, like the storm takes, you can see it because it's taking the trees and everything out. So
yeah,
literally, you can see the path where the tornado is heading, and it was like right at his house.
oh wow,
Yeah, um,
that's scary.
yeah, that's crazy. But it's that one's got the same issues as my other tornado one, where it sucked all the window seals out.
Hmm.
Um, so like
Telling me
the pellet bid's like $238,000. I
that's
mean,
the one house like the real nice house.
that's this other one too.
Oh really?
Yeah, but they've got it. It's a pretty unique house. I would say it's probably one of the more unique ones that I've ever been in.
Really?
Yeah, so it's 3 floors. Um, the top floor is like kitchen and bedrooms and a living room and a dining room, and then you go down a flight of stairs, and then it's
Mhm.
got this big open like TV room, like a great room with
Okay.
huge floor to ceiling windows that are like they're split, but they're like 18 feet tall.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I wish I had the photos. I'd show you the inside of this, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just in all of those windows, like all of the windows are uh, starting to have condensation because the seals are out. And so, like, he's had Pella out. Pella's had their forensic expert out to look at these windows. They're both saying that the vacuum from the tornado sucked because with newer windows, right? They seal them. The area between the two panes of glass, if it's dual pane, I know Provia's got a tri-pane, like a tri-pane.
Okay.
So there's a third, but the in between the most common is it's a dual pane, right? But they seal them and put gas in between those panes as an insulation factor. So whether it be sometimes it's argons, I don't know. I know argon's one of them, but they put gas in between that because that gas helps to insulate that window. So the inside of that inside glass that you touch, if you're standing inside the house, isn't so cold or warm. Where I mean, if you're in Phoenix and it's the temperature of the 80s, like you don't want the inside window to be warm. I mean, we get that here too. It's always a bad day when you touch the inside glass on your car and you're like, wow, that's really hot. It's like 107 outside and you're like, ooh, my sweat is starting to sweat. But yeah, so I mean, both of those are in similar situations. They've had engineers out. The engineers are like, oh, these windows are just worn out. And then we have, like I said, we had Pella out. Pella's going, well, our forensic expert, who actually is a specialist in windows, is saying that these seals are blown out. It's just crazy. So yeah, the one is teetering on litigation. We got a last second phone call from Big Red right before he was going to sign the paperwork, and said, "Hey, it was a new adjuster," and I had a really nice conversation with him. Seemed like he actually kind of knew what he was talking about. I mean, that one's just a travesty. Like their estimate was $700K, and then they just did, like, all of a sudden this guy just, like, the independent adjuster or their cat adjuster comes out. His estimate was $700,000. He told my homeowner on the phone it was $700,000.
Remember you telling me about that?
Yeah, we talked about it. I think we talked about it in episode 1, right? So, but yeah, so the update on that is that I heard from the adjuster. Hopefully, we're waiting to see what he says before we decide what our next course of action is, because it was a really positive interaction, which with Big Red, that doesn't happen very often. So I was like, let's see what he has to say, right? Like, give him a chance to do something. And I like, poor guy. He's like, yeah, it's my file's like 1,000 pages long.
Wow.
So he has to go through all of that.
Yeah.
But I gave him the timeline. I was kind enough. I gave him the timeline of what kind of happened. Just to kind of help him expedite it and wrap his brain around a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that one, it'll be interesting to see where that one ends up. I mean, because at this point, I think the attorney's probably going to, I think the attorney's probably going to ask for close to 900. On that, because last time I was there, I found more damage, and then he found more damage after I left in his garage.
Wow.
And then he sent me video, and I haven't watched it yet, but you can hear the roof and the roof structure creaking. He's like, it's never done that before. Now, granted, the wind was blowing like 70 miles an hour that day.
But still,
we were in the middle of a blizzard.
Yeah. That's still scary, man.
Yeah, tornadoes do weird things to houses and any type of structure. And the problem of it is you get these inexperienced adjusters that come out and they're like, oh yeah, this is just like a straight line wind claim. No, it's not. It's not like that at all, actually. I mean, and then they send out these Yahoo engineers, which I went off, like, I keep going off on them, because what they do is they send these guys out that primarily work for insurance companies. Like 80 to 90% of their book of business comes from insurance company, and then they go out and they deny it.
Yeah,
I mean, and then at what's your recourse at that point? I mean, what would you do in that instance, Sim?
I mean, if I was just a homeowner, I'd probably be like, oh, shit, I'm shit out of luck. Like, I'm just going to give up. But at that point, I mean, You have to get an attorney, I would think.
Yeah, well, you have two avenues, right?
Yeah.
You have technically you have three.
Okay.
You know, you can hire if you don't have a public adjuster, you can hire one at that point, but you're probably too late,
Yeah.
maybe a little. Public adjuster is going to charge you a premium because it's going to be a long time before you see any money, right? The me as the public adjuster, now I'm going to go out and do an inspection. I'm going to write a report that essentially either essentially outlines the damage, right? Like here's the actual damage, here's a report. You can hire your own engineer to go out and do an inspection. And then based on what that engineer says, if that engineer says, no, I don't see any damage, okay, well then you know, right? And you can provide that report to the next insurance company when you file a claim. Or you can go to an attorney.
Yeah.
And I mean, the tough thing with an attorney is like the one that I met with last week. First thing out of their mouth is, "What's the cost benefit analysis? Is it even worth me getting involved?" Now, like with the big ones, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they only do it by the hour. They don't do contingency. So like, I mean, they charge by the hour right out the gate. Like here we need a retainer. I mean, now this guy's been doing it for 25 years. He works for one of the premier legal firms in the city of Omaha, right? Knows his stuff. Like I was impressed with him. Like I know my stuff, and like he knows his stuff. Like I would say that he's probably about as knowledgeable as I am when it comes to disputes and all of that, right? But I mean, obviously, I know more about construction. He knows more about lawyer things,
right? Of course.
But yeah, he seemed knowledgeable. I liked what his process was going to be. But yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, you know, I'd be interested to hear what, and, you know, and if you have comments, you know, comment below the video, like send us an email, whatever. Tell us what you would do in that situation, because I'm all for like the hive mind's great, right? Because maybe someone's got a trick that works.
Yeah,
we just don't know about it. Like I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, same.
You know, it's just the industry's changing. You know, now we've got possible recession fears and all of that. You know, my wife works for the federal government. Like that, everything's changing. And I can't get into the federal government stuff because that is a spicy disaster.
Oh, I already know.
So,
well, the one thing that we have together, Craig, she's working. She works for federal government, and she's scared to death. So
yeah, it's I mean, like the news yesterday was like they cut half of the Department of Education. Like,
really?
Yeah, like 1,300 people. But yeah, that's a whole nother topic of conversation that I don't really want to get into. Trying to think. It's so industry specific stuff, man. Did you get a letter from who's your supply house? Who do you use?
Well, honestly, we've been using Lowe's because we were using what's called named River City here. SRS bought them out.
Okay.
And the benefit of going there is, you know, when you get it in bulk, you get some discount savings and what have you, and you could get in and out pretty quick when you get your materials. But I mean, when you go to Lowe's, the bigger companies, I mean, you get more savings like that. It just is what it is.
Yeah. What type of product are you installing?
Owens Corning. We either do Duration or Oak Ridge. And then what we're starting to do, we've been doing this for like the past year now, is get the homeowners policy, find out from the carrier what kind of warranty we can get. So, like, for example, I think it was State Farm, and they have got like a list of shingles and what classification 1, 2, 3, 4, what that boils down to. So you have to get, all the OC, felt paper.
Yeah, and then it also are you doing that so you can get them a discount on their homeowners premium? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I bring it up. I just bring it up to them. Whether they do it or not, it's up to them. But at least I can throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, is SRS the biggest supplier in the country at this point?
I think they are, man.
It's either SRS or ABC. I know the big three are SRS, ABC, and then Beacon.
Beacon. Okay.
I don't know. Do you have a Beacon? I would imagine Louisville has all three of those.
The Beacon is actually across the street from ABC, but I think that they're one and the same though. So no one ever, because no one ever says, "Oh, I'm going to get my materials from Beacon." I think it's pretty much just ABC. I don't know if ABC bought them out or what.
Maybe they bought that location. I know that there's a Beacon here, local.
Okay,
they're separate from ABC. And then of course, SRS. That's how they expanded. Is they bought all the mom and pop supply houses essentially. Yeah. Because they bought out contractor supply here in Omaha.
Okay,
I don't know if they renamed it or if it's just contractor supply owned by SRS.
Right.
But I don't have any qualms with any of them. Like they're
same.
If whichever one you go to is fine by me. That'll change if one of them wants to sponsor us.
Oh, absolutely. They're the best.
Yeah. But yeah, what else do we got? Anything it's been quiet. Like I've been doing some private training with some folks, which is going really well. I enjoy that. I kind of like to get back to doing more of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch someone's knowledge, like first off, their knowledge base expands, but like when you drop the initial bomb on them and watch them and you blow their mind, like that's pretty cool. Like it's fun to watch. But yeah, so that's going well. Looking for more people to train. I've got a couple contractors here in town that are interested. I think we might do an event with Good Life Claims. Might do an event with our contractor supply, like our SRS here.
Okay, that'd be cool.
I'm still trying to figure all the logistics out on that. I've got some friends in the industry. We talked about Tom DeRing from Da Vinci.
Yeah.
And Lisa Simroli, she's with Roof Rider Academy, I think.
Okay.
Out of Jacksonville. But we were thinking about getting something set up that way. But Tom was funny because he was here and then he went to RoofCon. And then I think he went home for the weekend. Then he went back to IRE. And then he went home for the weekend. Then he went back to International Building Show, which is out in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just talked to him yesterday, and he's like, "I'll text you later. I'm in, where did he say it was? Puerto Rico, I think.
Wow.
Down in the islands somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, which is just hilarious. Where is it? Barbados. He's in Barbados.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, right. But I can't complain. It was 82 on Wednesday. It was 71 yesterday. It's 75 today. Which before St. Patrick's Day is crazy. But our weather is supposed to be wild this weekend. Like we're supposed to have, there's like a severe weather outbreak tomorrow. It's supposed to go all across, the
whole weekend.
I think it was all across the country.
Okay.
It's a bomb cyclone is what they call it.
Man, it seems like even though we're thousands of miles away, it seems like our weather here in Louisville mirrors your all's there.
Pretty close, yeah. We're a little bit. I think we're probably a day ahead of you.
Okay.
Yeah,
because here this weekend it's been warm all week, and then it's supposed to be like 100% chance of rain on Saturday, and then rain all day on Sunday as well, and then drop down to like the 40s or 50s midweek next week. But yeah, it's like 80 degrees here today.
Yeah. So so we're supposed to get severe weather on Friday,
We get ours
and
on
then I think we get
Saturday.
snow on Saturday.
Snow too.
Yeah,
Ugh, that's wild.
but
Did you get snow last week?
what's that?
Did you all get snow last week?
Yeah, we had a blizzard.
You did?
Yeah, it was. I think we got about 4 to 5 inches of snow, but
Wow.
the winds were gusting to 60, 65 miles an hour.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Now we didn't get that. We got like
The
a inch.
snow was falling like this.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. Well, it's like I tell people, it's like so hard to measure, like and actually know how much you had.
Mhm.
Um, the spots that weren't as windy and like that kind of stuck, we had about 4 inches and four and a half.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the nice thing is it all blew away, so like the scooping was relatively easy. The worst part about it was like we had uh the bottom layer of it was just solid ice
Mm.
because I must have been warm enough that it fell and melted a little bit, and so
Yeah.
um like if you tried to scoop it like the following morning, it essentially wouldn't, like you couldn't get it up because it had frozen to the ground.
Yeah.
So it was like you had to like chop it out. Now, if you waited until later in the day, it had melted and had warmed up enough because it warmed up the next day. It was like 38, 39 degrees. So it wasn't that it was cold. It just snowed and had the wind.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next day you could like snow blow it or scoop it up or whatever.
Mhm. Well, it's wild times, man.
Yeah, weather's crazy right now. Um, so what's been going on in your world? You still finishing up that remodel?
Almost. It seems like every time we get to like the final date, something pops up. It was so just imagine a townhouse, an upstairs and a downstairs. The first floor was just wide open, where we had it was framed, wide open, and then the top floor had it was already done, but it was just I don't know 10 or 15 years old. So we just did a straight remodel. Um, we got one water heater to cover both units. And after it was all said and done, drywall was up, it was paint, the furniture was in there. Oh, I thought we were going to split the units in two. So we need a second water heater. Like, what? And I still don't really see the significance of getting the second water heater. The reasoning is if they go to sell the property, then it'll be more advantageous if they have the second water heater. But I'm thinking to myself, like, no one would look at that and want to buy it and then say, I'm not going to buy this property because there's not a second water heater.
Well, but the adverse too, though, is that when if you split the systems, because it sounds like it's 2 units, so there's like one apartment and a second apartment
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah, I mean that way that's two completely separate systems, right? So that way the top person that likes to take hour-long showers and do everything all at once, that person has their own, like depletes their own water heater versus depletes everybody's water heater. You know what I mean?
True.
That would
True.
be like how I would see like the advantageous part of that.
Yeah, I think our thing is that so it was essentially the building, like I said, it kind of looks like a townhouse, was like a utility spot. So it had like an overhead, like a garage door on the bottom. And I guess they would put, their tools and stuff and things of that nature inside there and then just stop being used. But there's two big rectangular apartment buildings on each side.
Hmm.
And I think it's like a total of, I don't know, 15 units, 18 units, something like that. So, in the apartment buildings with the water, it's usually paid for.
Yeah,
So from me, my logic from that standpoint was like, well, why? I mean, if you want it, you want it. It's great. It was just a fact of it was after the fact. So then they're
yeah,
wondering, like, well, why did you cut all this drywall? It's like, I mean, unless you want the water heater in the kitchen or somewhere, like we had to make it make sense. So
yeah. Which
uh,
stinks because everything's finished and it's all ready to go, and then you have to tear it apart again.
yeah, it was clean. I mean, we brought the cleaner in and everything. but I mean, it could have been worse. Whatever. So that should be done uh today, actually. So we'll see. But yeah, man, we've written more and more calls for remodels, commercial. So we're just gonna take it however we can get it, man.
As long as you're staying busy. I know not everybody's staying busy right now.
Yeah, that's a blessing. I mean, I'm never going to complain about being too busy because it could be, like you said, the total opposite. Um, oh, those the storm dates on that one address.
I didn't even look. I meant to.
Because I have a realtor that sends us business. He had somebody call 2 days ago or yesterday.
I'm looking it up.
So while you're doing that, I want to bring up your Iowa story again because that seems like, you know, that's what they're trying to do. I don't know, some of these insurance companies that we deal with here, just try to take us out of the equation altogether. The contractor. I mean, is that from just janky bootleg roofing contractors, or what do you think the deal is on that?
Oh, yeah, heavens, yes.
Okay.
Like, and you'll have to go back and listen to the last episode because we go into it in quite a bit of detail.
Okay.
But yeah, it's because you have contractors that have been doing shady stuff for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa specifically, there's a couple of I think there's 2 or 3 lawsuits that it's kind of spurring all of this on, so to speak.
Against contractors?
No. Against the contractors have brought against the insurance companies.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm pretty sure that is this going to be a wind or hail claim?
Hail. I thought it was a 3-tab shingle. Thought there was going to be missing shingles, but it's architectural. So, they said the neighbors had a bunch of hail a year ago.
I'm just looking to see where it's at comparatively to.
That's another thing that I've been seeing a lot, and that's the reason why I want to get these. If you peeped it out, I've been getting these storm dates from you. Is I always my belief was a homeowner had 2 years to file a claim from the date of loss. Well, it seems like they're unbeknownst to a lot of these homeowners, it's changing to a year.
Well, and it's in the policy.
Okay.
That's so there's August 1st of 24 is one. That's probably the better one, July 30th.
Of 24?
24. Yep. Because where that's located at, bud, that's where I was seeing a lot of the actual hail damage come through.
The real bad?
Yeah. It's the right spot, essentially.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, then this is a USAA. So is that usually 1 year or 2 years? Or do you know?
I'm not sure. A lot of them are changing their policies around.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've been educating people on is that, and I actually just spoke with insurance agent today, and she said the same thing. They're starting to put in the policy that you have X number of days until either 180 days, you have to report a loss within 180 days, you have to report a loss within a year. Where before, and in each state is different. Yeah. It was based on the tort, a tort lawsuit. So I could bring up a hail claim. Now it would say in the policy 2 years from the date of loss, but I could bring up a hail claim 4 years after the fact, because in Nebraska it's the tort laws. I have 5 years to file a lawsuit. And it falls under that time limit. Now,
okay.
A lot of them that would be something that they would probably try and litigate just because they're that's how they are. They're jerks.
Okay.
But most of the time, I can't even, when I was on that side of the fence, I can't even fathom telling someone you waited too long to file a claim, because all they'd have to do is change it to data discovery.
Right.
They wouldn't be able to fight data discovery right? Oh, we didn't know it was damaged. We just did like we did this, that, or the other thing, you know.
Mhm.
I got a text from my daughter and I don't know what it means. So I just totally stopped. I'll edit this out.
No, you're good. Well, speaking of your daughter, my daughter texted me and, hey, Dad, can you give me back that $20 you borrowed from me on Tuesday? Dad.
$20 you borrowing money from your kids.
Well, the crew came by after a job, and I said, hey, can you guys grab? I got a bunch of stuff from Amazon and Walmart, doing some stuff at the house. Can you take these cardboard boxes? And it's like, yeah, you give them a check for their work and stuff, but it's like, no, I'm gonna let me throw you guys some money. Just gave him a 20.
It's funny.
I have her been.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll talk to her when we're done. I'm just trying to think. Man, there hasn't been a whole lot going on news wise. The reason I asked you about suppliers because I saw some documents that all like shingle prices are going to go up another 10 to 12%. I think April 1st, and it looked like it was pretty much across the board too.
Yeah.
So like I think I saw it for GAF and NOC. I didn't see it for like Malarkey or Atlas or ICO. But
Yep.
I know I just off the top of my head, I know I recognize the GAF stuff. So
Yeah, matter of fact, you're exactly right, because when we were in there on Monday, getting materials for a couple of jobs we had this week, it was my lady friend there that always helps us out, takes our orders and stuff. She was like, the prices are going up. She said, so if you're using your estate gray and your Onyx black, just go ahead and buy a bunch of them. You got somewhere to store them.
yeah, and we did that when I was with JTech. We did that. We even bought a place to store them and brought in like I think we bought like $500,000 worth of Atlas, like whatever their charcoal gray shingle was.
Mm-hmm.
And Weatherwood, like, and that's what I don't know if they ever. I know they use. I don't know if they ever sold any to other contractors because that was kind of the intent. Like, if these get real tight, then we'll, if the pricing if we can't get them, whatever, we could potentially sell these off too. But I think they just worked through them. We did a lot of roofs that year. So, you all right, Simi?
Yeah, dude, it was weird. Like, I'm looking in the backyard, and I could have swore I saw something like moving, but it was like a plant. It's like a lavender plant. There's nothing lavender on there, yet it's just twigs, and it was moving. There's no wind blowing or nothing. Gosh, I'm scared. Snagged real quick, like we're screwing. Like,
I'll call the popo.
okay,
I got you back.
Oh man, but yeah, man, we just gotta be prepared for all this stuff, man. And so yeah, if we need to, buy a bunch of shingles and store them, and that's what we'll do.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember somebody posted it on Facebook.
I feel like they always do it on April 1st, anyways.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but she literally said something to us. Our my friend's name is Frida at Lowe's, but she literally was telling me the other day about that, and I was like, okay. And she'll tell me about like there's like pallets where they'll have just like random stuff from Owens Corning on there, and it might be like a $3,000 whole pallet, regular price, and then she'll sell it to me for like 500.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we just store that.
Do you have a warehouse somewhere?
Pedro's garage.
Pedro's garage. Yeah, it says major shingle manufacturers, including Certainty, GAF, Owens Corning, are expected to implement price increases from 6 to 10% on residential roofing products effective April 1st.
Mm.
So that's right around the corner.
Yep.
Manufacturers cite market challenges and market conditions as the reasons for the price increases, but the specific reasons are not clearly.
Yeah, everything's going up.
Tamco is going to go up. Tamco was going up as of the 16th, 6 to 10%. Atlas is going to go up 7 to 10%. Sorry, I'm reading it on this monitor over here.
Oh, you're good.
Atlas is going to go up 7 to 10%. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, that is.
But well, man, I think it's over an hour already.
Oh, wow. Oh, it is.
So I think we'll call it.
Okay.
Unless you have something else you want to talk about.
I want to get that date from you. And then, Craig, what's the next? Just give it a couple weeks, couple more weeks.
Let me think about it, and then we'll circle back on it. I've got another one because that one's Big Red too, isn't it?
No, this was it was a little subsidiary company of Progressive.
Oh, that's right.
Home Fight or something like that.
Oh no, that's American Family.
Is that what it is?
Site, yeah.
Okay.
Let me make I'll make a phone call and see if there's not something I could do.
Okay.
On this end, because I've got thoughts.
I mean, we've got and we've literally. I don't think the manager is even with the company anymore, but I've got him on recording saying, "I told you this already before. Oh, we'll pay for 3 out of the 4 sides for the siding, but the policy states we can't pay for 4." I'm like, well, you're going to show me the policy, right? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and send it over now. Obviously, he never sent over the policy.
Yeah, because the policy doesn't say that.
You think? So.
No, I've never read a policy that says that. We could pay for 3 sides of siding, but not 4.
Not 4.
Yeah. I mean, line of sight laws, maybe. Well, who knows? They've written in some really weird crap into some of the policies now. So,
yeah.
Like there's matching endorsements now. Like we will not pay to match the material. Like if it's different, if the damaged material is different than the material around it, or the replacement material is different than the material around the damage, we won't pay for that.
Yeah.
But that stuff's all going to get. I can't imagine that insurance companies are going to let that fly, or not insurance companies, Department of Insurance are going to let that fly. And if they do, well, we know who they work for, because that's so terrible for the homeowner.
Yeah. Well, it's already. Go ahead.
Oh, I keep waiting for the mortgage industry to get involved, because like all these insurance companies are pulling stuff out, pulling coverages and all of that. Well, pretty soon you're going to end up having a house that looked beautiful at the beginning now has 3 different colors of siding, and 2 different colors of roofing. Well, it just decreased the value of that house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just keep waiting for the mortgage company to go, hey, like we can't continue to do this, guys. Like,
right.
And that could be an interesting development to be,
I agree,
so to speak.
Yeah. We shall see, man.
We shall. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it a wrap. Sammy, thanks for the hour plus again.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This is the 4th episode of the Hammers and Hustles podcast, brought to you by Good Life Claims, which is my company, and roofing the 502. You can find them at 502 Roofing and Remodeling in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, I think that's it. Have a great week.
All right, you too, man.